younger sister to Lizzie. I'm born again. I want to thank all of you for coming to stand with us at a time like this when we don't have words to say. But being here is so comforting. We know that we are not mourning my sister alone. I'm going to read on behalf of all our siblings. My sister and I spent much more time together. You know, sisters are always together. So I'm going to read a little bit, a specialized one for myself and another one for my sister Sylvia, who is standing here. And then I'll talk about my brothers and what they would have wanted me to say. My sister Lizzie told me when I was a baby, she was put in charge of taking care of me. And as soon as I finished primary school, Lizzie had just gotten married. And she insisted to my parents that she would be taking care of me. She'd like me to stay with her. My younger brother tagged along, and he was lonely at home, being the last born. And the two of us went to stay with her. She brought us up together with her adopted children, Anne, who is here, Peter and David. Anne and I grew up as sisters. We even used to wear the same clothes. She would go to St. Michael's that time, and she would shop for us the same kind of clothes, and we just walked around all our lives as sisters until, of course, we got married. She cared to me, and that's when Tony and Stella and Kiki were born. Kiki, you're not telling the truth, you've been beaten many more times, it's not just once. Every time we would pick you from school, because we didn't buy you chocolate on a daily basis, you used to throw either one socks or one shoe out of the window. So you can imagine that, yes, that was you. Later, when I joined college, she used to visit me every weekend. And unlike my brother Kenagwa, I used to get loads of money. In fact, Ashova, my friend who I thought I saw, can attest to the fact that I used to lend my friends money because any amount I wanted, she could never say more to me. So I don't know, Kenagwa, that one, it was between two of you. Me, I got everything I wanted. We continued relating very closely as adults, even after I got married and had my own children. In fact, my soon-to-be husband had to go and see her and her husband, Josephat. They are the ones who organized how he would go and meet my parents and what to do and what to say. Then when I finished college, even though Temple College was a private college, and I was doing teaching, she still insisted that I should go and teach there for teaching practice. And that is where I started teaching with her until the time NIPS started. When we started NIPS, the confidence Jenga was talking about was James Mwangi, Engineer Muredi, who is here, I saw him somewhere, and myself. So that is how I ended up being a director. I used to take care of curriculum development, customer care manager, lecturer, human resource, and many other roles. Liz was the kindest and most generous and forgiving person I've ever known. She loved her family and members dearly. She loved spending time with her siblings and would drive all of us packed in her station wagon, Pigeon, to Kiganja to see our older brother, Jones, who used to work there. He was a fun-loving brother, so that's why we would go and have a lot of fun over a whole weekend. And whenever she traveled overseas, she brought something for all her siblings together with their spouses, and took turns, and took those items personally to each home. Wherever they lived, doesn't matter whether they were a country or whatever they were, she would just visit them and hand them over individually. Even when Lizzie was extremely busy in her public life, the first people she would invite to her events were her siblings and family, and made time to attend all their special events, no matter where it was. When she finally fell sick, we spent even more time together with her, checking in on her 2 to 3 times a week. We would sit outside with my other Sylvia, my sister Sylvia here, and joke about everything except dwelling on her sicknesses. Sometimes when she was lying down on the sofa there, I would just be thinking she's asleep, and I would be watching her and almost feeling like I want to cry. She would open one eye and tell me, "Don't worry so much about me. I'll be fine, and you will be fine." When it became apparent that she was leaving us, we sat down beside her bed, reminding her of her faith, and she went peacefully with all of us, loving on her, encouraging her to be present from the body. Is to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, which is a win-win, as she was a born-again Christian and she was just going to be with Jesus. I'm going to read my sister Sylvia's tribute. My sister and I used to fight over everything: clothes, chores. Even when she was young, Liz was a very social person and a little mischievous, and was always on the move. Sometimes that meant she did not complete her responsibilities at home, so I was the one to cover for her. Our mother would discover what she was doing, and I got the punishment for both of us, as I was a little bit older. When we grew up and got married, we brought up our children together, and every other weekend was spent either at her house or my house. We enjoyed taking the children out together, and they grew up to be very, very close, like Tony, Martin, Carol, and Smalley, Victor. Richard. As one of the caregivers, I spent almost every day with her in the last 6 months of her life, whenever she was in the country. We never allowed her to dwell on her illness, instead reminiscing about the good old days and dreaming about the future when she would get better. She did get better, just not in the way we hoped she would. As girls, we were very close to each other, but even if our brothers came and speak, they would tell the same stories of Lizzie's generosity and caring heart to them and their families. She had a special relationship with each one of them and was very concerned about their well-being. I remember that even in her busy and ailing health, she would make a point of finding out how they were doing. In the beginning of January 2023, they remember how she visited them up country, one after another, just to connect with them. I accompanied her with my brother Kirago as the driver, and we started with Brother John's house, where they talked about politics and everything else. Then we went to Mogambi's, they fought a little bit, just like they used to fight, because he's been talking about how he was bullying her on TV and on radio. Then we moved from there, went to Joroges, and finally Mainge's home. That is the time that she had actually, that's the time she started complaining that she was not feeling well, but she made the effort to make sure that she went and saw them personally. While we are happy, our sister is free from pain and sickness. Her absence is really felt, and we look forward to the day we will spend eternity with her. Rest in peace, my sister.